Hi, my name is Balaji and welcome to my channel. Here I'll be talking about my travels and today let's talk about Bangkok. This is actually a redo. I was halfway through making the video when I realized I was talking as if to a veteran traveler instead of a general audience. So I decided to do over and this time I'll walk you through what happened and my impressions as it happened at that time. And also I'll be throwing in various do's and don'ts throughout the video. So stay with me till the end and let's get started. Now, when I did my research about backpacking and Bangkok, the first thing that came up is Khao San Road. It's a famous backpacking hotspot, and since I did not know anything else, I just decided to book 8 nights at a place called Khao San Art Hotel. So I landed at Suvarnabhumi Airport at around 3 pm, and I made my way to the hotel by train, by walk, by local bus, which was a small adventure in itself. By the way, there's a cheap and easy way to get to the city from the airport. I'll make a short video about that later. So at the hotel, they put me up on the third floor and there was no elevator. It was all stairs and I was carrying this huge backpack. But the room was small, the room was small but nice, quite comfortable and I had a nice view. In the evening I took a walk around the place and I went to Khao San Road. I'll be talking about Khao San Road later. Now, my impression of Bangkok so far, it's very clean. Lots of traffic, yes, but not bad traffic. Almost no honking of cars, no four cars parked on side by side on a two-lane road, no black smoke pouring out of vehicles, no roadside dust. People actually following the traffic rules. At that point, I had experienced Delhi and Gurgaon traffic for more than a year, so this was a very welcome change. I mean, I could actually cross the road without holding my life in my hands. Anyway, back on topic. Back at the hotel, I got a good night's sleep, and the next day afternoon, I went out exploring. First stop was the Grand Palace. It was about 15 minutes walk from my hotel. Once you enter, it's pretty straightforward. There's a 500 baht entry fee, and you're in. Now, the term Grand Palace is a bit misleading. The compound is actually two complexes. First is the temple complex, which you will be entering. The second is the actual Grand Palace, of which you can only see the outside of. I don't want to talk too much about the temple because, for one, it's already well covered in many videos, and for the other, it's much better seeing it in person. I'll just let the few pictures I have speak for themselves. In short, it's as grand as the name implies. One of my favorite parts about this temple is the outer walls. They were painted in all sorts of mythological scenes that I found very fascinating. I just liked looking at all the stories on the walls and trying to figure out what was happening. Once you're done with the temple, then you make your way to the actual Grand Palace. Again, it's very impressive, but you're not allowed to go inside. You can only look at it from the outside. There was a very nice garden. Now for some do's and don'ts. First, there's only one entrance and one exit, and both of them are located on the north wall. So make sure your taxi drops you near the north wall, otherwise you'll have to walk a long way. Second, there are scammers who will try to convince you that the Grand Palace is closed for renovation, for national holiday or whatever. They will then try to sell you some overpriced river cruise that will turn out to be very substandard. The Grand Palace is open every day except for very few national holidays. Always go to the entrance and check with the guards. Third, do not wear shorts if you're going to any temple in Thailand. They will not let you in. In this particular case, you will have to buy or rent a sarong from outside one of the shops and then they will allow you in. Fourth, there are no shops inside the temple, inside the complex as far as I know. So make sure to bring your own water or drinks. When I went, it was mid-February and it was really hot. Next stop, the reclining Buddha. But before that, I stopped to have some lunch, some nice dessert, and a hat. A really nice hat. What do you think? Once you exit the Grand Palace, the reclining Buddha is about 10 minutes walk south of there. You can walk or you can take a tuk-tuk. Tuk-tuk is what they call the autos there. Westerners love them, but I don't see that traction and I never use them. But if you're a family, traveling with the family, it can be convenient, I suppose. They have been known to overcharge for even short distance, so make sure to bargain and agree on a price before you get in. Once you get there, the entrance fee is 100 baht, and you have to take off your shoes before entering the temple, before seeing the Buddha. The sheer size of it is overwhelming. I mean, I knew what to expect, but actually seeing it just stunned me. It was amazing. And outside, there was a priest blessing visitors. The rest of the temple is a very big courtyard with what they call chetties. Um, I don't know quite how to explain it. I'll look it up later. But it's basically a conical structures, and I think like a graveyard. I'm not sure. And there were some small temples. Now, let's talk about Khao Road. It's a complete party place. The whole street is filled with clubs, bars, hostels, restaurants, street food stalls. There are also the obligatory shock factor stalls. They will sell fried spiders, scorpions, insects, etc. If you're young and looking to party, this is the place to be. The party starts building up around evening and doesn't end till about early morning. I got bored of it after the first few times, but it's still a great place to go, people watching. The food was delicious and cheap. This was my dinner. Basically, freshly cooked spring rolls glazed with honey and a big portion of ramen noodles. All of this cost me only 175 baht. Now, lessons learned so far. The Grand Palace is a bit overrated in my opinion. It's always crowded no matter which season you go, and you're not allowed entry to the actual Grand Palace. And if you look around Thailand, there are actually lots and lots of temples. They may not be as grand as this one, but still just as beautiful and just as interesting. So overall, paying 500 baht for this doesn't seem worth it, at least to me. That's up to you. I think you can skip it and not really miss anything. The reclining Buddha, on the other hand, is one of a kind, and it's definitely worth visiting. And lastly, for Khao San Road, there are two factors I should mention. One, it gets really noisy at night, and if you're staying there, you should know the party doesn't end till about 3 in the morning. The second thing is, it's a bit far from the metro station, and that makes travel a bit difficult. I only stayed near Khao San the first time. Every other time after that, I made sure to book a hotel near the within walking distance of the metro lines, and that made my travel much easier. So keep that in mind if you decide to stay there. And those are the mainstream commercial tourist trap kind of places that I visited. From the next video onwards, I hope to show you stuff that you haven't seen before. So thank you for staying with me till the end. I hope this was useful to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.